In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, I bear witness there's no God but God, and Prophet Muhammad is a slave and messenger, and I seek refuge in Allah from the rejected Satan. Now, in this video, I'd like to discuss the Mahdi, the Mashiach, and the future of the worlds. Now, if anybody's knowledgeable in the Quran, they know that no one knows the future except Allah, the unique creator of all that exists. He knows it all, He's all aware, He's all knowing, omnipresent. So, how am I going to talk about the future? Well, we're going to go what Allah says in the future, about the future of the nations. Now, Allah says in the Quran that every nation has its time, its allotted time in this world. So, every country that we know today will not exist in the future at some point. And we know that from the Quran. Now, that's a good thing. And I'll explain why. It's a good thing because the Shaitan, the Dajjal system, has pulled the wool over everyone's eyes. Now, we know the Dajjal, the deceiver, Shaitan, operates in deception. The Shaitan is an open enemy to all of us, all the believers. So what the Shaitan has done has turned all the countries into corporations and turned all its citizens into corporations. The Corporation of Canada, Corporation of the United States, Corporation of England, Corporation of Saudi Arabia, Israel. Every country in the world is a corporation. So, and these corporations have turned all their citizens into smaller corporations. If you look at your identification, anything, your driver's license or whatever identification, it's all in capital case letters, which indicates that it's a corporation. So these corporations, the Shaitan system, the Shaitan corporation system that they got going on now, is looking at everyone like a corporation. They don't look at you as a creation of God. All the laws are corporate laws. They're not founded in natural law. They're not founded in God's laws. This is the Shaitan system pulled over the wool over our eyes. So the Shaitan's very deceptive. A lot of the laws are, say, for example, not wearing your seatbelt here is considered unlawful to the corporate state. Wearing your seatbelt or not wearing your seatbelt is a victimless crime. And Allah says in the Quran, to be successful in this world, take Him as your shield and protector alone. Not the seatbelt, not anything else. Allah is our shield, for example. So there's all sorts of victimless crimes that you can get fined for, and if you want to travel to different countries, you need visas, you need all sorts of licenses, if you want to build a house, it's got to go through all these, if you want to do pretty much anything constructive in this world, there's all sorts of regulations, restrictions, paperwork to fill. Now it's all corporate. Now Allah has given us all free will, and Allah says that in the Quran. He could have made us all believers, but He didn't, because He gave us all free will to choose for ourselves. So Allah gave us all free will to choose. So we can choose the Shaitan corporate system, which is Gog and Magog, which is the materialistic Gog and Magog. They're all about material. They're all about the money. They're all about turning you into a corporation, milking you in taxes, making you work to the bone, pay for their big military to use that money against us in chemtrails and poisoning the water and all sorts of other things, genetically modifying the foods and poisoning this, that, and the other thing to weaken us, to weaken the believers. Because that's what Iblis said. Iblis said he's going to manipulate and change the natural creation of God. He's going to turn the servants of God against him, except for His chosen ones. This is what Allah says. He's an open enemy to us, and we should take him as an enemy, as Allah says in the Quran. So the Shaitans pull the wool over all our eyes to some degree. So how do we deal with this? Well, we don't fight it head on, and we don't protest about it. We can talk about it like I'm doing now, but we're not going to protest about it. I don't think that's very productive. The best thing to do is to do what Allah makes lawful and stay away from the unlawful things, especially keeping your prayers on, doing your prayers on time. That's probably one of the best things to defend against the shaitan, and not to obey the shaitan. That's the biggest thing, is not to obey. Allah gave us all free will. We can choose to go along with this system. Now they use fear to manipulate us to go along with this. If you don't pay your taxes, or do this, or have this license, or have this, regulation or whatnot, they're gonna fine you. Shaitan loves to threaten your wealth. That's one of his favorite things to do, is to threaten you with poverty. And it's just not to obey them, not to obey these bullshit laws or whatever, these corporate laws. Our presidents and prime ministers are nothing but CEOs of the corporate country they're operating. And they do all the song and dance with the elections and all the government agencies and blah blah blah. It's all corporation. It's all Gog and Magog. It's all wicked. Now there's some good things that come out of this, that, and the other thing. Of course, Allah puts goodness in everything. There's some laws that are beneficial, but for the most part, most of them are oppressive, and oppressive taxation, and the way they run the money, it's all fiat currency. The banks and the people who are running the system can print as much money as they want, and that's why we have inflation. We have runaway inflation. Inflation increases every day, because they just print as much money as they want, and then the system, the Dajjal system, supports all the systems that support it. So when you're paying your taxes, it's going to support the Dajjal system, unfortunately. And that's the hard truth. And I'm here all about the truth, because the truth shall set you free, and Allah says the truth shall prevail. And the wicked ones, the people, the Gog and Magog, will be totally upset that truth shall prevail. The truth shall prevail, and they will be shocked by it. The Mahdi will be successful in bringing peace and harmony and abundance and equality and justness to the whole world. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time for all these corporate countries to end and bring about a new world, a new way of living, a living that has Islamic moral values in it, that Allah prescribes for us, that'll bring us about paradise. And that's what it's about. That's what the Mahdi's all about. The Mahdi's here to basically save the world. And it's amazing. It's beautiful. And so the best way to combat it is not to obey the Dajjal system, is to operate outside it. And that's what the Mahdi is going to do. He's going to operate outside the Gog and Magog, Dajjal, Shaitan system that has infected the whole world through corporate means, through incorporating all the countries in the world and incorporating all its citizens. They don't follow natural law. They don't follow God's laws. They follow their own corporate laws of greed and corruption. And it's just getting worse. So something's got to give. So as they get worse, we'll get better. We'll be closer to Allah. We'll gain strength. We'll gain in knowledge, fortitude, patience, and we'll succeed, as Allah promises us in the Quran. So, I'm going to shift into a bit of another topic here. That's a little bit heavy stuff. I don't like to think about too much about that. I'd like to think more positive things and I like to keep the vibration high, you know? So I don't want to combat the shaitan. I'm just not going to obey the shaitan. And I'm going to obey Allah. So, how do we shift into a better future? Now, as I've stated before in the Quran, I talked about parallel realities. And Allah says in the Quran that He created 7 heavens and He created as many earths. So there's multiple earths, which means there's multiple versions of me and you in those different earths, or slightly different scenarios, or whatever. So what I've come to understand in my heart in knowledge and seeking of knowledge is that every moment we are shifting between different parallel realities. So if we're in a negative say we're being negative, for example, and doing sins, that's going to lower my vibration, and that's going to bring me to a parallel universe that has a lower vibration, and I'm going to get that as a mirror back to me. So if I'm being negative and angry, well, I'm eventually going to run into an angry person, and they're going to be yelling at me back, right? That's just the way I'm sure we've all experienced that. And if we're positive and we're doing all the things that Allah makes lawful, staying away from the unlawful things, we're praying, we're eating pure foods, we're healthy, we're doing good to others, we're not backbiting, all that, we're doing really well. That's going to raise our vibration, and it's going to bring us to a higher vibratory parallel reality. So that's how we're going to shift into a higher vibration, is that we're going to move into a parallel universe that has abundance, has prosperity, has peace for all, has abundance for all. We're going to wipe out poverty, we're going to wipe out hunger, we're going to destroy the weapons, we're going to end military oppression, we're going to end police brutality, we're going to end violence, we're going to bring paradise to this earth. And Allah says in the Quran that He created 2 paradises, one in this world and one in the hereafter. So we have the capabilities to bring peace and harmony and balance and paradise into this world. And Allah gives us all the keys in the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him. So we are constantly shifting. As Allah says in the Quran, He created a cause and effect law in this universe. It's the law of cause and effect. Now, a lot of people think that we create our own reality and all this stuff, but that's not accurate. Allah creates everything. Allah has power over all things. Allah is in full control of everything. Power is just an illusion, and we'll realize that in the hereafter, that if you chase power in this world, you were chasing a shadow the whole time, as Allah says in the Quran. So, we don't want to be chasing shadows. We want to follow what Allah's guidance, and He says cause and effect. So you do good, you get rewarded with good. You do bad, you get punished with bad. So this is how the parallel universes work. So it's cause and effect. So we're doing good, we're going to move into a higher vibratory state, which is going to bring us, we're going to vibrate to a higher parallel universe, to a higher vibratory parallel universe. And that's all cause and effect, because we're doing good deeds, and that's going to bring us higher. If we do bad deeds, it's going to bring us lower into a lower vibratory parallel universe. So there's not only parallel universes, there are other universes. So there's the omniverse and parallel universes, and I'm sure Allah has other creations that we can't comprehend right now. And I've said a lot already, and I wish everyone the best. I wish Allah to protect all the believers, to bring you closer to Allah and love and harmony and balance. And I wish peace and blessings upon us all. Thank you so much. Take care.